What if the Earth was square? It's one of those questions that sounds completely ridiculous at first, like something a kid might ask while doodling cubes in math class. But then your brain starts to itch a little. A square Earth? Like literally a giant cube floating in space instead of our cozy little sphere? What would that even mean? Let's say that somehow the laws of physics took a day off and let geometry run wild. One day the Earth just shifted, not exploded, not flattened, just popped into the shape of a perfect cube, each face about 12,742 kilometers wide, the same diameter as the round Earth. No one saw it coming. One second you're sipping your coffee, and the next you're standing on a corner of the planet, wondering which way is down. Here's the first mind-bender. Gravity doesn't work the same way on a cube. On our spherical Earth, gravity pulls toward the center, so everyone stands upright relative to the surface. But on a cube, things get strange. In the center of each face, gravity still pulls straight down toward the core, so if you're standing in the middle of a face, life feels pretty normal. But walk toward the edge, suddenly the ground starts to tilt beneath your feet. You're not climbing a hill. You're literally being pulled diagonally toward the planet's core, which is now way below your current position. Corners would be the weirdest places of all. Gravity pulls you at a harsh angle, almost sideways. Try building a house there, and it'll slide right off unless it's bolted down like a mountain goat's dream home. No surprise that cities would cluster around the face centers, those sweet, stable zones where gravity is the most Earth-like. The edges and corners, they'd become strange wilderness zones, maybe even tourist traps. Visit the edge of the world, literally, but it gets wilder. Think about the oceans. On a spherical Earth, water wraps smoothly around the surface, forming seas and currents that behave in a fairly predictable way. On cube Earth, water collects in the center of each face like a puddle on a flat plate. Gravity pulls it inward from all sides, meaning the oceans would be square too, shallow near the edges, deepest in the middle. The result? Giant, symmetrical face lakes instead of global oceans. And in between the faces, dry ridges and steep mountain walls. Sea travel, nightmare fuel, and weather? Ha! Wind patterns rely heavily on Earth's shape and spin. On a cube, airflow would be chaotic near the edges, whipping around the ridges like a pinball. Storms might get trapped in face centers, spinning endlessly in vortexes with no place to go. Imagine a square-shaped hurricane just camping in the Pacific face for weeks. Now, let's talk sunlight. On round Earth, sunlight moves across the surface evenly. On cube Earth, that's not so simple. The sun would only hit one face directly at a time. The edges and corners, permanent twilight. The opposite face, utter darkness. So you'd end up with weird time zones. One face in blazing day, one in cold night, and four stuck in a strange dawn, dusk limbo. Seasons would be even messier. If the cube spins like the Earth does now, sunlight would flip between faces like a spotlight on a rotating dice. And don't get me started on atmosphere. Gravity is weaker near the edges and corners of the cube. That means the air is thinner there. Now try to breathe on the edge of cube Earth, and you'll feel like you're on a mountain, except you're at sea level. Weather balloons would bounce weirdly. Planes would have to chart zigzag paths to avoid low-pressure zones. Satellites would hate us. But let's pretend humans adapted. We built weird architecture that hugs the cube's geometry. Trains that spiral around corners, drones that hover in shifting gravity, maybe even bridges that connect the faces across the terrifying drop between them. Civilization would be divided not by continents, but by cube faces. 6 massive regions, separated by gravitational cliff edges and atmospheric chaos.